Hey everyone, this is the Chaotic Dragon back again. Today's deck profile is going to be a Trance Pendulum Magician deck. Alright, as usual, we're going to go through the deck profile first, and then we will go over explanations. First, we will have 3 Dragon Pit Magician, 2 Trance, 1 Dragon Pulse, 3 Odd Eyes Pendulum, 3 Oath Dragon, 1 Breaker, or 2 Breaker, the Magical Swordsman, 1 Luster, 1 Skullcrabat, 3 Abductors, 1 Wisdom Eye, 1 Time Sword, 1 Knights and Sorcerer, 3 Allure of Darkness, 1 Odd Eyes Fusion, 1 Pendulum Call, 1 Upstart Goblin, 1 Dragon's Mirror, 2 Summoner's Art, 1 Swords of Concealing Light, 1 DDR, the Different Dimension Reincarnation, 2 Sky Iris, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Vanity's Emptiness, 2 Calls, 1 Warning. Extra deck. First of the dragons, Rune Eyes Pendulum Dragon, the Mighty Draco Slayer here, Vortex Dragon, Beals, Odd Eyes, Explosive Magician, Tempest Magician, Absolute Dragon, Big Eye, 2 Ebon Illusion, 1 Force Focus, 1 Dorito the Moral Leader, and 1 Gusto Emerald. As usual, you need to ignore the sideboard here. These are just cards that I test with and try to make work, and they don't always work. So even though you can see it, ignore it. Use what you think will work best for you, or whatever you can afford. Now it's time for explanations. Of course, we got our Dragon Pit, which is back row hay, and of course our high scale, and a normal monster, which is also very important. Same with Trance. Trance is chosen because he's 100 points stronger than the Dark Magician, and he's easier to summon. Alright, Dragon Pulse, a monster destroyer, which is kind of useful when he's a spell. Odd Eyes is Search, Oath is Recur, Lost cards or cost cards. Back row hate with Breaker the Dark Magical Warrior. Lots of searching, basically. Time Sword is a defensive card and a remover card. He removes problem cards. And then, of course, like I said, as a pendulum card, he stops my pendulum monster from dying by card effects. We got our draw power. Odd Eyes Fusion, you can play Poly if you need to play something cheaper. That is the good news. Odd Eyes Fusion is, in my opinion, a little better for this deck because even though what we're doing here is... The idea is we're going to be put in situations where we have to top deck. And when you're usually in a top decking situation, what's happened here is you are in the losing position. Odd Eyes Fusion gives us a chance to come back by letting us get the Vortex Dragon because the opponent probably has more monsters than us. So it's our potential game changer. Dragon's Mirror to help get out the first, which is a very powerful card in this deck, as you're going to see in the replays later. Summoners Art to Search, obviously Swords to put all the entire opponent's monsters face down, which is quite useful if I may say so myself. DDR to get back banished monsters, Sky Iris, protecting our scales, Mirror Force. Alright, now with the regular Mirror Force, that's just me because I'm a nostalgic person that way. I prefer the regular Mirror Force. Now, if you don't prefer the regular Mirror Force, you're more than welcome to play something else. You can play Burning, you can play Rippling, Graveling, whatever works best for you. I got Vanity's Emptiness, Call, and Warning, just some standard staple cards. Basically, the cards you're going to go for all the time are going to be the first of the dragons, the Vortex Dragon. We're going to go with Ebon Illusion and Norito. These 4 cards are the big 4 you're going to go for. The rest of these are just based on your situation. So, for example, if you're in a position to get out the Mighty Draco Slayer, I recommend you do it. It's a powerful defensive card. Now, in most cases, because I've only got 1 Luster Pendulum, I was only in the situation to get him out once, but they managed to negate my entire summon. So, there you go there. But these 4 cards are your big guys you want to go for, because Norito here is a spell and trap stopper, a one-time spell and trap stopper per turn. Then, of course, you got Illusion Magician, which has a snowball effect, basically, where every time you're just getting rid of your opponent's cards, and if they don't get rid of it, they're bound to lose, because basically it's a snowball. The game gets worse the longer it goes for them. Alright, then we got Vortex, which is our walking Solemn, basically. Solemn warning on legs. or not Solemn Warning, Solemn Judgment on legs. And then, of course, First of the Dragons. Now, why is First of the Dragons so important, you might be wondering? Because most of these decks that seem to be coming in the future are very monster-oriented. So it's not the back row you have to worry about, it's the front row. Now, fun fact is, this guy can only be killed by normal monsters. Not non-effect, he can't even be killed by non-effect monsters. Meaning, like, Gem Knight Pearl isn't going to get rid of this guy. If with an attack booster, you know what I mean? Cards like Synchro monsters and, you know, Xyz monsters that don't have effects are not going to be able to get rid of this guy. You need a normal monster to do it. You know, you need somebody like Blue Eyes White Dragon to take this guy out. Now, that's the fun part. Now, if you're playing a deck that plays normal monsters, I recommend you throw in a Dragon's Mirror and this guy in the side if you absolutely cannot main deck it. Because this guy is such a hassle to get rid of to your opponents. Like, the only way they're getting rid of him in most decks is if they're playing something that is a one-time monster killer, like, for example, this Dragon Pulse Magician, when it's a spell card. Or they're playing something like Regeki, and your opponents are not going to like it because they have to waste a whole Regeki just to get rid of this one dragon in most cases. They're not going to, and who wants to waste a Regeki on getting rid of one card? No one. So they'll avoid that like the plague. Most players will. Also, the fun fact is, this guy can be looked at, like, your opponent can just simply waste resources trying to get rid of this dragon. And once they've done that, the rest of these other three guys can kind of take the game from them by banishing their shit and all that stuff. And of course, you get out his Beals here by combining it with any of the level 6 monsters with Knight and Sorcerer. Knight and Sorcerer plus any of the level 4 spellcasters to get these guys, which are also to get you Narito, the Moral Leader. And there you go. That's the nutshell of the deck. You're summoning one of these negation cards, and then the rest of it's just support. This is the Chaotic Dragon. I'm going to be signing out here pretty soon. If you want to help me out, I'm going to put a link in the description below to my Amazon, or to the book that I wrote, I should rather say. I wrote a book. It's called Unbound the Spirits Awaken, so if you guys want to help me out, please purchase that book. I sell digital and physical copies now. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment below if you have any ideas on how to improve the decks that I show you, or want to see something in particular on this channel. I'm not above making and testing out a deck and trying to come up with a very affordable version for somebody. I am very much a budget player, and I prefer to help out my fellow budget players. So, like I said, leave those in the comments below. This is the Chaotic Dragon, and I'm signing out.